Hello and good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It is, of course, today's the new episode of Breakfast with Boom, but it's a special one because not only do we have Infinite Umbra of the Fix, which last night the show was absolutely astounding. Him and Danny doing what they do best, and that is entertain everybody. But we are giving away, and I say we because Mrs. Boomstick is in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. She wanted to pop in, take a few minutes from her very, very busy work day. Just thank everyone for all the birthday wishes. And as promised, as advertised, we are giving away 10 $50 gift cards. And of course, the first 5 winners will go to channel members, and then the second 5 will go to anyone that is, of course, in the chat. And we do it all fair, right? We use the picker that has become recently available for StreamYards. So what you're going to do, folks, is I'm going to drop in a hashtag, and here it is. It's hashtag Mrs. Boom's B-Day Bash, folks. You type that in the chat, and you get automatically entered. And when we start getting closer to the half of the show, I will pick the first 5 winners. The second 5 winners will be picked towards the end of the show. And this time, thanks to popular demand, not only are we giving away your choice of Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo eShop gift cards, we are adding Steam gift cards to that because people asked for it. I didn't have them the last time, and now we do. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, Mrs. Boom's birthday B-Day Bash. Type that exactly in. You get entered in, and of course, the picker picks, and we just yell out the winner. And again, the only way we're able to do this, folks, is through the channel memberships, is through the super chats. Because what we do is we tuck it away, and we just wait for these big days. One of our big things is giving back as much as we can. And my wife works, and obviously that money is for bills. I'm retired. Pension is great, but it has a ceiling. But of course, we're very blessed, and the generosity that comes out of this, out of the people that watch the show, is just it's legendary. So we feel obligated to give back. I think it's the right thing to do. And Mrs. Boom, we're always and I always trying to up the ante. So real quick before we get into the introductions, the last giveaway of the year is the biggest one we've ever done on the channel. We just made 6 years as of November 3rd. We made a 6-year anniversary for our time on YouTube. We are closing in on 14,000 subscribers. We are, I think, 381 away. I think that's what the last take. So if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And what we're doing this December, folks, towards the end of the year, as we've done, this will be the 6th annual Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick. And we are giving away, folks, $1,500 in 2 hours. We're giving away 2 grand prize of $250 gift cards times 2, and 10 $100 gift cards to, of course, your gift card, your platform of choice: Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo eShop, or Steam. And if you are outside of the Americas, because we can't send those gift cards because of their region locked, we will send you the monies, and we will pay all transfer fees, and we will pay all denomination differences. Like if your country's money is worth more than here in the U.S., we will, of course, pay that. You literally pay nothing. If you win, we represent you, and you win. And this year, Mrs. Boom, last year we did $1,000, and in the beginning of the year, when we start to do these, put these things together, she sat down with me, and she says, "Can we do better? Because this year is going to be tough for people." And I said, "Yes, we can. How much do you think we should go?" She says, "I want to do it by 50%. And we raised it to $1,500. Now, I don't know if we can keep going 50%. Maybe next year we can do 2. I don't know. But this year we are giving away $1,500 in 2 hours, the most we've ever given away at any one point in the show's history. And that is thanks to you folks for donating the way that you do. But let's get into the introductions. We have a lot to cover here. Infinite Umbra, one of the major powerful voices, one half of the fix on Thursday evenings, sir. Not only are you there, but you're also on Risk It for the Biscuit show on Friday evenings. How you feeling, sir?
Were it so easy. Absolutely, Boom. Yes, hey, glad to be here with you, gentlemen, today. I missed Tuesday's show because I passed out in this chair waiting for the show to start and woke up at like 2 o'clock. I was like, oops. So it's good. I'm grateful that I had the chance to come back here and jump back in on the show with you guys. And yeah, we had a good show yesterday too. I brought my buddy a Crusader who was on the TXR podcast on Sundays.
Nice.
Yeah, we talked about the situation with Bungie and Sony and things like that. So yeah, it actually went way longer than I thought it would go, but it was a good show yesterday. So yeah, and tonight we're gonna have a nice show on Xbox Infinite too. So yeah, happy to be here with you guys today.
Well, we're happy to have you, brother. And obviously, listen, you work at night. These things happen. We did miss you. Shout out to Tim the Sorcerer, because what wound up happening is I started out the show by myself, and then and I would have done the show. I would have probably done an hour. And I do have to say this: he had made mention that was one of his favorite shows of the week, and it was mine as well because we had a lot of people jump in. Mav jumped in. We had Asante jump in. We had a bunch of people. C Money jumped in as well. Obviously, he's part of the show. Danny wound up showing up about maybe 20 minutes into the show. So we had a power panel of people, and it just was when you have that happen, it's usually one of the better shows because nothing's planned, so it's everyone's shooting from the hip. It was a lot of fun. But we're happy to have you here. Web Dave, good morning, kind sir. How the heck are you feeling?
I'm doing pretty good. Sorry
There he
about
is.
that. Yeah, I had to mute everything real quick because right when we were going live, I got a call from a lawyer. So you got to take care of business.
You have to, absolutely, you do. Yes.
So yeah, I mean, everything's fine. Let me rephrase that. So it's all good. I'm glad to be here.
Well, listen, we are happy to have you, sir. Appreciate it very much. And listen, we're going to get to the super chats and some of the new channel memberships as well momentarily. Big thank you to everyone. A big one just came in here. And thank you so much. We will get to that in a second. Dreadpool, you're here in spirit. I don't know if you're physically here because you sound like you're dying on the vine, but we're happy to have you, brother. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Yes. Yeah, lack of sleep. I know exactly how it is, Infinite. It's just one of those things.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it happens, but we do our best to be here. And don't like missing these. Love the chat and want to definitely hang out with the chat more often than we can sometimes. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. Excited for this giveaway. Excited to talk what we got to talk about. Oh my God, we got some fire to happen today, and yeah.
We have actually a lot to get into because Jez Corden did an article. He wrote an article the other day. The visualization of Xbox Game Studios' first-party output, and he did that because, as Clobriel has done before, he has really. And if you don't know who Clobriel is, he is definitely someone that you should follow on X or Twitter. He does graphics. I don't know if that's his profession, but he has a knack on being able to show a significant amount of what Microsoft and specifically Xbox is doing in usually a frame. It's very hard to do. He has a really, really good knack for it. And I got to tell you, and I said this in the green room and I'll say it publicly, when you see how many first-party games are coming the way of Xbox Game Studios, it is daunting. It is exciting. And if you are PlayStation, this is why they are in a tailspin. They have no direction. They are leaderless. The amount of people that unfortunately have lost their jobs due to the massive amount of layoffs, some people would call it mismanagement on Sony's part, is egregious. You also have something like no first-party games outside of Spider-Man. That's not good. And even though Spider-Man, I'm having fun with it. It's flawed. It's a flawed game. It's fun. It's I'm having a blast, but it's flawed. It is not your atypical Insomniac delivered property.
It really isn't. A lot more faults than I thought it would have had. And also, I had I played through it once, and I'm playing through it again to get a better feel. I had it at a 9. Now I'm at an 8.5.
That's what I'm at. I'm at a solid 8.5. Yeah.
Those side missions, I'm sorry, they're terrible overall. And I don't mean to just trash the game or anything, but also those MJ missions. I
haven't gotten to them yet because I'm doing all the world stuff. Yeah. And I heard that they're egregious. So.
They're better than the previous ones, right? I will.
Well, yeah, she's apparently she's the boss. She stun guns the heck out of everybody. So
she's Metal Gear Solid Snake and John Wick mixed into one.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. Listen, let's continue. Obviously, Dread, again, appreciate you being here, brother. And last and not least, the best bald head in the business, folks. You know him as one of the best drivers in the business, and every time he sees me driving, he just shakes his head. Hey, Fuzzy Belvedere, what's going on, brother? How you feeling? Good morning.
Morning, everyone. Glad to be here with y'all. Oh, man, just everything that we've seen on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it these days, it's been pretty interesting, whether it's ads popping up or
we're opening up with that
fire, the dumpster fire that seems to be happening over at Team Blue. It's just shocking, but man, we got a lot to get into. Glad to be here with everyone. Yeah, let's get into this stuff.
Well, first of all, what you see on your screen, folks, is I admit it publicly. I suffered from FOMO, and I was like, you know what? I know that Modern Warfare 3 is going to be in Game Pass potentially sometime next year, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not waiting. I had I think like $60 left on a gift card that was on the account. I had to pay a couple of bucks for the $70 edition because I didn't buy the $100 edition because there's no reason for me to do that. I really just want to play the campaign. And here we are. I'm 3 hours in. I'm quite enjoying it. Graphically, it's just, you see, it's stunning. It's stunning. It runs really well. We'll get into some of my thoughts about the board layouts. There's some weirdness, but I kind of like it. We'll get to it. But we have to open up, and I'm going to go first to our guest with this because I think he may do an imitation of somebody. The amount of pushback that I am seeing from the Xbox community regarding the advertising, that the flash screen that pops up on you, one button, you're gone. That's it. You press it, you're done. Flash screen done. Folks, I don't understand, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. If you don't like the advertising for Modern Warfare 3 on your Xbox, I'm not going to push back on it for you, but I'm going to tell you my personal feelings on it. If I recall correctly, Umbra, for years, all we have heard is Xbox needs to compete. Xbox needs to market better. Xbox needs to be in your face. Let people know. Folks, they just spent $70 billion on one of the most bombastic IPs and franchises in gaming. Now, it may not be your bag, but when you see how much money this game is going to make, it's going to blow your mind. I think it's even going to do better than it did last year. And that money now is going to Xbox. And I saw some really, really bad, disingenuous takes about, I can't believe that when I turned on my Xbox, I saw a red screen telling me to buy a game. Folks, you know what's interesting? I was having a conversation with Kay Asante, and we are both in agreement here. The time that you took to go to social media to tweet about how this bothered you, you could have went past 25 splash screens because it's a button press. And then you're on to your Xbox. That's it. One button press.
Yeah, it's hardly worth crying over. Also, they've done it twice before this now.
Yes, they did. They did it with Forza. Yeah. I didn't see any complaints. They did it with Starfield. Mm-hmm. I didn't see any complaints. But now they do it with Modern Warfare, and it's a problem. And some people are really going to town on this. Folks, I don't know what you want from Xbox. They have to advertise. They spend $70 billion, and now you don't want them to compete. You don't want them to tell Xbox gamers across the planet. This is the first time that they've had marketing for Call of Duty, folks, since the Xbox 360 days. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Please,
Yeah, I think it's
and-
just much ado about nothing, honestly. And it's like you said, hell, I've been one of the people who were like, man, Microsoft needs to step up their marketing. Like
Indeed.
I've been one of the people that said that. Like, we see the marketing they did for Starfield, and that's an outlier because we know Microsoft doesn't do that typically that well. And I'm pretty sure that most of that was Bethesda that did that. But I have no issue with pressing, exit on a little ad. It's not like you have to jump through hoops to get rid of it off your screen. I know some people are like, I can see some people like, I don't like that this is popping up when I turn the game on. I paid this much money, and it's like, all right, okay, all right, I get that, but is it really worth complaining about? Especially like you said, the time it took for you to try to make a tweet about it. It's like, come on, And I think maybe it's because we're just bored, right? Maybe we're bored out here because
maybe.
I think Xbox has been kind of having a collection of W's in a row. So it's like we got to find something, right? I think you got to find something to complain about. I don't know. Maybe to turn the tides because it's been W's on the Xbox side of things for a while now. A bunch of L's going Sony way. So maybe people like, because I have seen a few of our Hoove brothers trying to, oh my God, they put this on there. I paid $500 for this console. I saw that from a Hoove brother. I'm just gonna be honest. I saw it and I was like, I don't believe. I was like, what's his name off of what's the name of that show? The movie, The Weatherman, whatever, not The Weatherman. He's like, I don't believe you.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. That was me because it's like, nah, you're not that upset about this. I just don't believe that. It was what was it, Will Ferrell? He's like, I don't.
Will
believe
Ferrell, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't believe you. I don't think you're that upset. It's just really not that serious, honestly, at the end of the day. You pressed Anchorman. Thank you, Corey B. It was Anchorman. He's like, I don't believe you. It's science. But I just don't believe that people are that upset about something like this. And listen, I don't want to throw anybody else under the bus because we got some good brothers on our side of the things that kind of made a fuss about it too. I
agree with you.
Yeah.
I think everyone's entitled to their opinion. By all means, have your opinion. Go on the socials, argue your opinion if you want, and that's fine. I'm going to tell you to your face, I disagree 1,000% with you.
Yeah, like if they could just listen, it's fine to dislike it, right? I think though it's like don't make a mountain out of a molehill, as the old saying goes, right?
Yes,
that's what I would say. Like, hey, I prefer not to have this when I start up the console. Okay, if they say that, fine. But if they're like, this is terrible, because again, I have seen the I paid this much and I pay for Game Pass and I got to see this ad. It's like, it's not that serious. It's really not. And this is a major release. When this major first party game starts hitting Game Pass, I fully expect them to do what they're doing here for major releases. It would be foolish of them not to, honestly, in my opinion. It's not, and it's a slight bother, if that, to us, just to press one button. It's not, it doesn't harm us that much. You know what I mean? And a lot of these people are the people that are talking about they prefer physical. It's like, if you care about physical, you got to get out and change this disc. So are you this bothered that you got to press a button on your controller? I don't think you are. So I just think it's all within context. If you just take it for what it is and say, I prefer not to have this in my starting screen. Maybe they can give an option where you could turn it off in the options. Maybe Microsoft could do that, just to assuage these concerns. So maybe they could do that and shut some people up, because I just don't think it's that big of a deal.
I think that you are asking a company that is trying to move their way into first place, go out and buy literally the largest IP. Listen, again, I mean this, folks. It may not be an IP that you care about, but there are millions of people that look forward to this. Now, I don't necessarily think that they need to do this because everyone knows Call of Duty is coming out. If you are a fan, you know this is coming out. That's fine. But this splash screen are for potentially the normies finding Xbox for the first time. I've actually seen, and I do want to, I want to bring in Web Dave on this. Dave, my personal thought and theory about the disingenuous takes is that I've seen some people lead with, well, it's not in Game Pass, so why should I have to press a button to go to the next screen? Okay, it's not in Game Pass this year, but moving forward, it's going to be in Game Pass every year,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
I if you feel how you feel, I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. I'm telling you that for me, you are making a big deal out of absolutely nothing. And if you are one of these folks, one of these gamers that will have rah-rahing for Xbox to be better, here it is, and it's too much for you. I mean, let's go, Dave. Please, by all means, let's talk about it.
Well, Boom, here's my take on it. We've been at the Activision Blizzard deal for over 20 months.
Yeah.
Trying to get it closed, get it done, get things going, get it past us. And when I saw that this was happening, that this little pop-up screen was coming on, which I actually didn't see it for myself, didn't get it. So it's not, it's not bombarded, stuck in everybody's face, and every time you turn it on, apparently it happens like one time.
Yeah.
And then you're done. So to me, if I was to see that, I'd be ecstatic, knowing of all the pain and the crap we had to go through. Excuse me, Microsoft had to go through to get the deal done. And to me, it's like it's almost like look, it's
exactly.
Yes. We own this now. This is ours. Your hard work. When you have Game Pass, eventually this is going to be in there. Plus, a lot more titles are coming. We know that it's going to be a plethora, absolutely filled up with games coming to Game Pass from Activision Blizzard and hopefully King. The way things are in the works, we've heard rumors, and we think that that eventually it's going to be, there's going to be a I guess a phone version of Game Pass that'll have all the all the phone games on it and stuff, which would be great. And all maybe included in Game Pass Ultimate, and making the service better. And just to me, it's like, how could you? I mean, it pops up once. It's not like you have to do a whole bunch of stuff to get away from it. It's to me the reaction. I mean, in some people's mind, maybe there's this may set a new precedence, and now we're going to see it on everything. No,
I don't think so.
I don't either. And even then, there was rumor at one time, or speculation, that, or even some talks. Jez and a couple other people had talked about it. I think Grubb had even mentioned it, that that there was a possibility that there might be a lower tier ad-based version of Game Pass coming, to get people in the ecosystem.
Indeed.
Yes. So and that one might have some ads that pop up when you first turn on the app, if you're at that level. But it's not out yet. It's not available. We don't have to deal with it until it becomes available. And even then, it's your choice if you want to be a part of it.
Yes.
So the simple fact that this ad pops up, to me, I celebrate it. I think it's fantastic, because it represents that Microsoft is able to, there's probably a certain guideline of things that they can and cannot promote with this new game coming out. And, that supposedly, Sony has, locked down because of their agreement, the old agreement that they're finishing off. So with this, it's like, if this is the only thing that they can do to tie it to their system, you know what I mean? To let people know that, they can advertise in some way that Call of Duty is coming out this year. Praise him, man. More power to him. Let's rock it out.
It's the evolution of a $70 billion deal. It is one flash screen and a button press, and it's gone. And the boogeyman is gone, right? As quick as the lights went out and the boogeyman scared you, you turn it back on. Boogeyman's gone, folks.
I thought the boogeyman was Jim Ryan.
Sorry, put on the big boy pants, folks. They have to advertise. You've been asking them for advertising. You've been asking them to compete. You've been asking them to show their fangs.
Yep.
And now that they do it, Fuzzy Belvedere, we have a problem. I'm just confused now, folks. Listen, I before we get to Fuzzy and of course Dreadpool, and then I'm gonna give you my hot take on obviously what I'm playing, what you see playing. This is Modern Warfare 3. I am 4 hours in. I'm very much enjoying it. There are boards like this that are not traditionally what you would expect from Call of Duty, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm kind of digging it. Because what you'll see is littered through this map are these loot boxes with gold guns and purple guns and blue guns, and it feels like you're playing like I think I've only played Warzone twice, so it kind of feels a little bit like that, but it's telling the story. You have objectives. We'll get into in a second. Fuzzy, before I get to you, I have to tackle some of these super chats because we have a total of 24. Now, they're not all super chats. There's some in the channel member, new channel members, which of course we have to celebrate, as well as member chats. So I want to get to those. And first of all, Ballantone is a new member. Ballantone, welcome to the program, brother. Thank you for the generosity. Tim the Sorcerer drops a very generous £2 super chat and says, "Happy birthday, Mrs. Boomstick." Thank you for that. And I guess Mrs. Boom, I don't know if she's going to get back because she's super busy at work. But she was in the chat before the show went live, and she did thank everybody for the amazing birthday wishes, and we are very appreciative of the love that you show her. Mech Dio has become a new channel. Mech Dio, welcome to the program, brother. Jonas the Dad, welcome, dude. He drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Let's go. 7 a.m. in Oregon, waking up with Boom and crew." Dude, that is amazing. I'm up at 6 every day, so I understand, but thank you for listening. Pat F, who's been a channel member for 3 months. Welcome, Pat, and says, "Happy birthday, Mrs. Boom." Drawn TJ drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Happy birthday, Mrs. Boomstick." Brother, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Pure Shooter drops, wow, an outstanding $20 super chat. So Pure Shooter, welcome, and thank you for the generosity. He says, "I listen to your show daily, and you help keep me going through the work week. Happy Friday," brother. That's very kind of you to say, and I'm glad that be a part of your daily ritual, if you will. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Jay Rambert drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "I'm convinced people had to create a pseudo controversy based off of all the negative Sony news, press exit and more, press exit and move on, people." You know, Kay Asante said the same thing. There's literally, I think actually Fuzzy might have literally said that in his intro, that there's literally so much good Xbox news. They're like, well, we have to shit on them somehow, so let me just pull down my pants. It's just ridiculous.
Pause.
I wasn't quick on the pause there.
At least they took their pants off. I guess it could be worse.
Yeah, it's true. At least I'm not wearing see-through pants.
So should it be
that
pause?
Would be a problem.
They're wearing their brown pants. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, this got dark. I like that. Greg K has become a new channel member. Greg, thank you so much for that. It's very kind of you. We have NC, who drops a very generous $2 super sticker. NC, welcome to the program, and thank you for the generosity. Black Helmet Man, who's been a channel member for 26 months. Dude, that is awesome. Thank you so much. He actually says, "Happy birthday, Mrs. Boom. RoboCop is amazing." Yes, dude, I am actually like 12 hours. I got to tell you, it's my biggest surprise of the year, because even though in some parts are campy, like, when you have to help someone open a locker and a bunch of, like grenades pop out and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe we did that. Or writing a ticket on a car that's parked in the front of a hydrant. It's a B movie, but it's so good. And the violence, the gore is like, I could tell you this right now. This same developer did Terminator, and I'm here to tell you that Terminator was freaking phenomenal. The attention to detail is sick. And on top of that, they just added an update with some DLC. I rebought it because they re-released it for the Series X. I hope I can play through the game and get all my achievements because I got all the achievements out of that. That same company did RoboCop. I just think they're amazing. RoboCop is phenomenal. Okay, so we have a writer for life 76. Dude, wow, this is crazy. He drops a ridiculous $50 super chat and says, Morning panel, here's some cash for such a great channel and people. That is very kind of you. And of course, we will take that and we will reinvest it into the channel as we do. And that's, you know, it's only right to do when people are so generous. Pizzaman drops a very generous $5 super chat. Says, Happy birthday, Mrs. Boom. Thank you, Double Barrel Gaming. Well, thank you, brother, for the generosity and, of course, being here. And I'm going to stop right there because I want to continue the conversation. Fuzzy Belvedere, listen, you are a very pointed individual. You seem mild-mannered, but it's this kind of stuff that gets you to be pointed. I think it's ridiculous. I think when you consider how bombastic this $70 billion deal was, how long it took to get across the finish line, how important it is to Xbox as a business, and more importantly, the more and listen, I'm not making a dime out of this, folks. They don't get. I have stock, but I'm not really making any money every time they sell a copy of this. But I am going to tell you this: every time that someone subscribes to Game Pass, what that does for me as a consumer is Microsoft reinvests into this service that is the best in the business, and we get more games. And there's been no better year for Game Pass than 2023. And if you'd like that to continue, well, advertising like this has to happen. How ridiculous is the argument? I don't want this splash screen. I have to press A. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? Like, for real?
For me, I don't like ads anywhere. Like, and it's not that it's like the end of the world or anything like that, or it ruins my day by seeing that splash screen, but I don't like ads. And I'm one of those, it's like, if I'm paying the service, I don't want to see ads. But that doesn't just stay with Xbox. That also includes for PlayStation. Because little does anybody say anything about PlayStation. They put a tile, like where all your games are on the home screen. They'll add a tile saying, ooh, this is like the 40% off sale, or some sort of other game is coming out. And I hate that. I hate having to delete that tile to get it off of my splash screen. I also hate when I start up Steam and they have that other little pop-up saying, oh, it's a 20% off sale. I hate all ads. Like if I'm going to a forum or if I'm going to a website like CNET or something like that, I hate seeing ads. But that's across the board. I don't care. Like I hate Hulu, even though my family still loves watching shows on it. I want to get rid of it because they lied on the whole thing way back when they were like, oh, no ads. And I signed up for that. And then it's like, oh, well, just a few ads. And then just a few more ads. Like I hate ads. Now, funny thing is I used to do marketing for the company I used to work for. And it's part of the reason why I hate ads. But it's not the end of the world. But like you guys have kind of hinted to, there has to be some sort of bad news for Xbox in the grand scheme of things, considering, you know, there's a dumpster fire across the street at Team Blue right now. Like any way you look at it, there's something going on that just isn't quite right. It's not the same PlayStation. And I know some people are like, well, you know, new management or whatever the case may be, but yeah, I guess it was too lopsided. Like Xbox had too good of a month last month, and it's already continuing on with BlizzCon right around the corner as well. That, you know, we got to throw a little bit of shade over there. You know, the potato, the Series S still did better as far as performance on Alan Wake 2. So you can't really talk about the potato.
Right.
Well, we can try to drive home the issue with the controller thing. Oh, that's right. Well, they're trying to, you know, get or put a stop to the cheater like macro things as far as like the little go-betweens on the controllers. And most of the controllers, unless you were buying like shady off of like Wish or whatever, are going to be, you know, compatible. Now there are a few arcade sticks that aren't working, but don't go after Xbox. Go after that company and be like, hey, cheapskates, I gave you money. Why don't you go to Xbox and get the licensing so that way your thing is approved? But that's a whole nother story. But it's common for, I guess you could say, overreaction with Xbox. I mean, they could lay off 10 people and it's front page news. and it almost seems like you have to drag it out of Forbes or any of those other news article, or gaming sections when it's something about PlayStation. It's like, oh, there's much more to that whole Bungie story, and each day it's like a little bit more drips out, a little bit more drips out. It's like you can't keep the people quiet because the people that were let go are pissed off because they were caught off guard completely. At least with, and I'm going to say this is always the case, but at least in a lot of cases with Microsoft, you kind of know when it's coming, especially after a project is finished. And more times than not, you get like a severance pack if you've been there as long as some of the people that have been at Bungie, or like what's her name, Connie Booth over at Sony's. But it's a different world, different time, whatever. But yeah, I don't like ads anywhere, but I'm going to be consistent on it. I don't like them on Steam. I don't like them on PlayStation. I don't like them on Xbox. And that's the end of it. But does it stop me from hitting exit and moving on with my day? No. It's like you said, 2 seconds, you move on, and it's no big deal. But I would rather no ads be there, especially if I'm already going to buy the game. And
Right.
at least the cool thing is the ads make sense to what you play. And I saw the one for Forza. I saw the one for Starfield. And if I'm not mistaken, and I swear to you, when MLB came to Game Pass, there were ones for MLB The Show. Because I bought it in 21, and I think 22 when they had the Negro Leagues as far as for the additional content. I swear to you, I saw something similar for that. I didn't have a problem with it, but it's like, I don't want the ads because I'm already going to buy the thing. But
Right.
I guess until you buy it, if anything, I hope that they make it where ads are smart enough to know that, okay, he's already got this pre-ordered. Let's not necessarily show him the ads.
Well,
And
I think that's what happened to me because I didn't get the splash ad, but I had Modern Warfare pre-ordered. I like I said, I if you have a campaign in your Modern Warfare, rest assured that I'm going to buy it because that's what I buy it for. I don't play online. If I want to play online competitively, I go to Halo. I don't go to Call of Duty. It's just not my bag. So I did not get that splash screen. So I think what you're talking about may have already been implemented. Now, granted, I could have turned on my console, right? And sometimes when I get up, I'm up at 6. I press the power button. I go get myself together. I wash myself up. Start making breakfast for me and Mrs. Boom before she goes to work. And I can walk over to the console with my cup of coffee and I do my thing. I don't know if it goes away or you have to press a button to make it go away, but I have not seen it. And I'm on Xbox every day, 7 days a week.
Yeah. And I think, and at least from what I've seen in the past, when people used to, like you said, talk about Xbox having to market more, do more advertising, I was the guy saying they are advertising. It's just that you need to log out of Google more times than not because there's a thing called targeted ads, and there's also I can't call what it's called, but it's like almost like not re-enlisting, but it's like if you are already known as an Xbox favorable consumer, you're less likely to see the YouTube ads for Xbox, or at least that's how it was in the past when everybody was claiming they don't see ads for Xbox. I'm like, just log out of Google and don't use your normal account for YouTube and all that stuff, and you'll see the Xbox ads because they're out there. It's just that if you're already flagged as, an Xbox consumer, they're not trying to bombard you with repetitive ads, or at least that's how it was in the past. So it is what it is. Ads are always going to exist. These companies have to make money. The advertising companies are paying them to put the product in front of you. It's the same thing on social media, whether you're on Facebook or you're on X, Twitter, Threads, whatever. There's always going to be ads. But like I said, I'm not a fan of ads anywhere, but it's a part of life. Is it the end of the day? No. And if it's really that upsetting, just log off. And I don't mean in the finale way, just log off from social media, log off from electronics, because that's part of everything now. Like you can't go anywhere without being an ad. And I thought it was pretty funny. Somebody had made mention on X as far as, I wonder if these same people complain when they go to the movie theater. I paid good money for this ticket and I'm seeing ads for other movies. Like I thought that was kind of funny. But,
people do.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal, but I'm not a fan of ads, and I'll just leave it at that.
No, listen, dude. Again, a fantastic way to explain, very simply, very pointed, as we expect from you. You're not an ad fan. You don't need to be sold things, so it's bothersome. but you didn't go to social media and try and make a mountain out of a molehill, very similar to what Infinite Number had to say. So there you go. I think people are in this generation of social media want to be seen by everybody. They want to be the loudest. Xbox has to get it wrong. If they don't get it wrong, it's not Xbox. So again, great way to explain it. You're not an ad guy. You don't have to be sold it. So you don't want it. You don't want your chocolate with your peanut butter. I get it. I totally get it. Absolutely. Some people just want chocolate. Some people just want peanut butter. I like both. So there you go. Dreadpool. Let's get your hot take on this. Real quick, shout out to Sleepy Goblin, because one of you fine folks in the chat here today are going to win Alan Wake 2 because he just donated the code, folks. That's right. Alan Wake 2. I'm going to go into the picker, and the first one that comes up, I'm going to send you the code. And if you're out of the country, this is one of those instances that I'm going to have to redraw, because again, this was gifted by someone in the community, sent to my message me on Xbox. So obviously they're here in the United States, because you can't do codes otherwise. And of course, if you are in the Americas and you do win, you're going to get Alan Wake courtesy.
Very nice.
Of Sleepy Goblin. And that's
shout out now, Sleepy. Hey, Boom, you want to add me to that list, brother? I don't know. I feel like we should be added to this just because.
I mean, it's one of those things that panel members are excluded, sir. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry.
Bah humbug.
Bah humbug. Damn it.
Here's my resignation, so I can.
Holy matrimony. Yeah. Listen. Let's get your hot take on this, and then we're going to move on to some of the other topics we're going to get into. Obviously, the Xbox first party this is what we've been waiting for as Xbox fans. That's the best I can tell you. We're going to get into it in a hot second. I just want to give you my point to take on what I've played so far. I'm really enjoying myself with Modern Warfare. But listen, let's get your really hot take on the flash screen for the ad for Modern Warfare. Is it that bothersome? Are people making it a big deal for nothing? What are your thoughts, Dreadpool?
Just let's cut to the chase. It's a nothing burger, right? That's all it is basically, there's a fire across the street. There's nothing to see here, but let's over exaggerate what I'm being offended by on this side. You know what I mean? It's part of the status quo. There's always something wrong with the Xbox, and yes, is there a problem with the controllers being blocked for not being officially supported or approved by Xbox? Yeah, there is a problem. But again, like you said earlier, those companies need to go ahead and put in for it. Now, we don't know the type of hurdle that they have to do, what kind of payments they have to be approved, or any of that stuff. So we don't know that part of the deal. And Xbox definitely needs to be more welcoming for those type of controllers, because that's a huge community that they're going to be pushing out to be able to protect us, the consumers, to have an enjoyable gameplay session, right? So when you see something like this, I'm not going in the store right now, right? I was in the store, grocery store, earlier this week, and I noticed Doritos had a Starfield logo on it.
How dare you?
I was offended, and then I gasped even harder. I went down the aisle because it was on the end cap, right?
Did you clutch your pearls, kind sir?
I did.
Okay,
I did.
So make sure.
I had to keep it clean though, because I didn't want anybody seeing me doing that on camera. One of those things are like, whoa, wrong pearls. But I looked over.
You forgot to pause after that, sir. Pause.
But I looked over at the rest of the Dorito section, and they had Forza, they had Halo, wow. They had, you know what I mean? They had a couple other IPs from Xbox, all underneath the Doritos logo on those bags. Oh no, I cannot. I'm clutching them right now again. I cannot believe this. The hypocrisy that they are going to advertise elsewhere. And this is the same scenario, right? We are sitting there worried about an advertisement that we're asking for them to advertise. And granted, I have not seen it. It hasn't popped up on my Xbox. I don't own the game. I haven't played the beta. So why did it not pop up on mine? It's a random thing. I'm sure they're targeting certain people. And at the same time, you want more advertising. You got more advertising. Did you
Yep.
not? We got it out there. And they're doing it in many forms. And this is just the norm. How dare you drive down the road and it says Mercedes or BMW or Honda? How dare you drive those cars with their logos on there? It's the mentality. It seems like they're so used to, lack of better words, bitching about Xbox, that they
Yep.
have to find something to do that about. So certain times, like we talked about with the controllers being banned that are not approved by Xbox, I understand that. I can kind of get with that and be like, okay, there are exceptions to this because of these situations, and they need to allow those people to do something. But when you're jumping over and complaining and being offended by advertisement that you asked for, I mean, are we seeing advertisements in games? Oh wait, don't we see that when we play Madden? There's advertisements all over the place there. Wait, don't we see that in whatever FIFA's new name is? Don't we see that in those soccer games there? Oh, Fuzzy, you see it all the time when you're running 100 miles an hour down the lane, right?
Yeah.
It might be a blur to you, but you see it, don't you? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Hey,
in the games.
Dreadpool,
Billboards and stuff. Yeah.
Anthony Chipmunk said that because of what happened, he stopped eating Doritos and quit Game Pass when I saw those Halo ads on the bag. That's it. He's quit.
See?
And
See?
that's it. He's done.
Point proven. Thank you for supporting the cause. You know what I mean? It's so funny that a lot of things, we're nitpicking on trying to make the news,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
nothing against some of these guys in the news, because I know they have to, again,
Stay relevant.
they have to bring in the money, right? It's their job, it's their duty. But we just, again, ask them to be more, I don't know, ethical when it comes to some of this stuff. So when it comes to, this is not a big deal. It's what we asked for. I
Yep.
mean, now, do we have to, I don't know, jump through hoops to get past this flash screen? Do we have to
No, it's
buy
literally
the
press a
game?
button. Press
Yeah,
one button. That's it.
right. So there's the difficulty. I can't push a button because why? I'm too lazy. Why? I have an impairment of some sort. Really? We know how many blind players that are kicking butt in fighting games, and here we are, able-bodied, and and these guys are kicking our ass. It's like, okay, why are we complaining about certain things like this? Let's complain about other things like the injustice where they decided to raise the prices of Xbox Gold, right? What happened there? As a community of gamers, we all jumped on the ball and said this ain't right,
Yep.
and got them to fix it. This is one of those things that, why are we trying to rah the masses for what? Trying to sell my game, right? Boom. What do? Every day that you have a show, what do? You advertise on Twitter. You
Yeah.
put it
Mhm.
out there. Hey, we got a good show coming for you. This is what we're going to be talking about. We have these guests on. You you're part of the problem. Did you not know that? Apparently.
Yes, I know.
You know what I mean?
Shamefully, I
It's
am.
part of marketing 101. Advertise, put it out there where you can reach people,
Wow.
and you're in the industry and you want to say no, but yet you have paid advertisers that come on your website and your YouTubes and other forms of media that you guys promote on, and you're going to complain that Xbox has found a way to get to their players.
Yeah.
Come on now.
It's listen, it's again, I didn't want to open up the show with this because we don't like negativity here. We only promote positivity, but I had to speak on it because I just think I think some of the lengths, Dreadpool, that people have gone to try and twist this into a negative Xbox story is just shameful. Now, real quick,
I'm positive this is lame.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine. A couple of things. We have our first 5 winners. We have a winner for the code donated by Sleepy Goblin, but crazily enough, someone called the J55 has also donated an Alan Wake 2 code for us to draw live on the air. So
Nice.
the J55, dude, I don't know if you're listening, but I just got a message on my pewter, and well, we're gonna do another draw. So here are the first 5 winners of Mrs. Boom's 4th annual birthday bash. Again, you can get a gift card if you won to your choice of Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo. Now, granted, you gotta give me a shot to go get them on later, because obviously when you buy them digitally over like an Amazon or something, they limit you. So I have to get in touch with everyone. You have to let me know where you want it to, and then I have to go get the code actually physically, because I go to like a GameStop because it's much easier just to get. I need 10 gift cards for these, and I go, rather than have to go to 5 different merchants online, because you can't only buy so many gift cards at once. And when we have these big contests, this is what happens. So Sherman Jacobs is one of the winners of the $50 gift card. Luis Hanemes is also one. Green Goblin, welcome, brother. You have one as well. Dan the Man Cunningham, you have one as well. And Oliveria has one. There are the 5 winners. Now, folks, if you are on X or on Twitter, DM me. If you are on like on Xbox, message me. If you go to the About page, the business email is there. Email me. We will get you the code one way or another. If you're outside of the Americas, we will, of course, get you the equivalent of the money sent via only PayPal. We will get that over to you ASAP. But the minute you tell me that you won and I confirm it's you and you have a PayPal account, the money's sent, boom, that's it. We pay the transfer fee. We pay any denominational change. If, like, in your country it's worth more, we pay that. You pay nothing. And the first code for Alan Wake 2 goes to Chris713. Well,
Nice.
That's awesome, Chris. Congratulations. And again, shout out and thank you to Sleepy Goblin, who donated the first code. And I'm going to now draw. I'm going to draw the other 5 winners, and the other winner for the second Alan Wake code that was donated by the J55. We'll get to that in a minute, but gentlemen, I have to talk about. Let me see, where is this message now? Let me get on here. Okay, so let me just copy this and paste it. Okay, now we can get out of the screen. Gentlemen, I want to start with Infinite Umbra. And I'm going to do a quick screen share because you folks have to see it for with your own eyes. Now, I'm going to pause this footage here, and I'm going to do the screen share live on the air for you folks. And again, this story comes the way of Jez Corden, who I sat down yesterday for about 75 minutes. We had a great conversation of Windows Central. Now, obviously, I don't know how it's going to translate on the screen. Okay, I mean, it's really not that great. It's hold on a second. Let me see if I can go into it and just blow it up. Okay, let me see what I can do here. Just move this up. That's because that's already been released. So okay. So let me know, folks, if you can see what I'm putting down here. I tried to blow it up the best I can do. Let me see what that looks like here. Yeah, it's okay. It's not great, but look, the reason why I bring this up, folks, is because as Xbox fans, we are on the cusp of seeing Xbox go from third place, and in some places fourth place, to potentially first place. Now, you remember last week, a couple of times on my live streams, I called it out and I said I give Sony 12 months in first place before we start to see that change. Now, it could come before, it could come after, but I believe that the minute November 10th hits and Call of Duty is available everywhere, the doomsday clock for PlayStation's grasp on the industry will start to slip, and by November 10th of 2024, they will officially be out of first place. And not because of one game, it's because what we're going to talk about here, Umbra. All you have to do, folks, is look at the roadmap that is in front of you that was provided, and again, the story is called the visualization of Xbox's game studios. This comes the way of Clobreel, great friend of the community, great friend of this channel. He's following me on X, on Twitter. I love it. I appreciate it. He has a knack for doing a lot of work and saying a lot of words in a single picture. And I'm here to tell you that when you folks see this, I don't care what platform you're on. I don't care whether you bow down to Steam, whether you bow down to PlayStation or Nintendo. You have to look at this, Umbra, and be like, damn, this is what we've been asking for.
For us, it's damn. For our Who brothers, it's damn.
Yeah. It's the damn. You know, from Friday. If anyone's a fan of that, I'm a fan of that GIF, and I'm a fan of those actors. So I appreciate it. Let's talk about it, because this is an absolute daunting list of first-party games. And you know what's crazy? This is just only what we know. And they have more that they're working on that they have not revealed yet. If you are Sony and you are looking at this list, this is a roadmap that they are not going to be able to compete with. Microsoft has 44 studios now, including support studios.
Sounds like music.
44 studios. By all means, take it away.
It's beautiful. You know, like I said, we see this and we see the future. We see this crazy outline of IP, Contraband, Indiana Jones, State of Decay 3, Perfect Dark, Outer Worlds 2, Fable, Everwild. Like, we see this and we're like, this is what we signed up for. This is what we stayed around for. This is what we hoped for. And Phil delivered, man. Phil and team delivered. 5 years ago, they had what, 5 studios?
Just total of 5 first-party studios. That is correct. 5. Pre E3 2018, before they announced the 5 studios that they acquired and the creation of the initiative, they had 5 studios. That is correct.
To jump from that to 44, you say now, right?
44. Yes.
How insane is that? You know,
it's ridiculous.
It's magical. You know, the thing that's sad too is it's a thing about this, because we see this and we're like, we see what's coming. We see what's about to happen. And I agree with you that at a point there is going to be a shift. I don't know if Xbox will take over marketing, like not marketing, but mind share rather, as far as market share rather, as far as the number one over PlayStation this generation. But slowly but surely, they're going to be getting a lot of those PlayStation heads over here. COD is going to be a catalyst for that, obviously. And there's a quote again, and I do this because I'm a little loopy and I'm tired, much like Dreadpool. But there's a quote from Theo Vadam in Halo where he says, "It is the poor soldier who insists on seeing things not as they are, but as he wants them to be." And our Hoove brothers want this. They want Xbox to go under. They wanted us to suffer. They wanted us to fail. But we're right here. And we will not. No, okay, I'm sorry. We didn't fail. Xbox held it down. And this right here, when I see this right here, all this does is just instill me with faith in the brand. You know, I look at this and I don't think I think it's impossible to look at this and be like, who wants an Xbox? Everybody now should want an Xbox. If you value your dollars, if you value gaming, I just think it's foolish now at this point to try to deny the value of Xbox and Game Pass, honestly. That's why we were talking about the whole thing with Call of Duty with the advertisement. Somebody in the chat said it earlier. They were like, if I pay 70 billion for something, you best believe you're going to see ads everywhere. And I'm with them 100%. So when you see stuff like this and you see all the money that Microsoft has put down for these studios and to build their first party the way they have, I fully expect Microsoft to take advantage of that. They're not going to sit and rest on their laurels. They best believe.
What did Satya say, dude?
Oh,
we
they're
are
all
going to
in.
double down.
Double
That's
down.
scary.
He's all in. And we first heard Satya say that, and it's all filled with, both of them with the little Xbox jacket and all that on, the Halo jacket. Like, okay, we'll see. And then, you start seeing quickly, not even slowly, but quickly, that they put their money where their mouth was. So I feel like you can't see this graphic, and shout out to Globrill for this graphic, but you can't see this and be like, they don't have what I want. No, they have everything.
They do.
They got everything. This, the image where they say you and the X that she told you not to worry about. This is the X they told you not to worry about right here. That she told you not to worry about. This is it. You got everything. The diversity that PlayStation used to have in the PS3 era is now Xbox. There's no other way around it. I mean, you look at what PlayStation offers and you look at what Xbox offers. And I'm not saying it's to tear down PlayStation. Like what you like, enjoy what you enjoy, but to sit there and try to deny the excellence that's coming our way. And it already started this year. So imagine next year when we get Hellblade 2 and everything else. We still haven't seen any Hooved Heresy. We haven't seen any combat yet, but I expect it to. Shout out to Marvin right there. It got me. But I expect next year to go as hard as this year. Pause.
Yeah, I was going to pause right there. That's good. There you go. That's right. Talk about it.
Got to be on your P's and Q's. No, it's insane. It's insane. Boom. I mean, and then we got to talk about the story franchises that they have now. Not only just Starfield, which is it was as important as we thought it would be to the platform. You still have Elder Scrolls coming. We still have Fallout 5 that has to come at some point. You know what I mean? You have
Dude. There's the next Doom. Yeah, exactly. There's the next Wolfenstein. There's the Forza Horizon 6, which is supposedly might be in Japan.
Absolutely. You got so much to look forward to. And that's not even counting we obviously the Call of Duties. That's not even counting like the Kojima project that he has, that he's like, we even brought even over their idols from the Hoove brothers idols over here. So it's like at a point you're going to have to swallow your little Hooven pride and jump on over here. At a point, I just think you can't see this and be like, and try to be negative. If you can be negative on here, something is just, I'm sorry, you're not a gamer at that point. But listen, I see this right here and I'm excited, and I know all of us are. I don't know what else to say except that I'm happy with what Xbox team has done. They've been as aggressive as we wanted, more than what we expected, and I just all they need to do now is deliver. That's it. And I think they've shown a good track record at that. I mean, if we continuously get 80 plus scores for a first party game, you can't really cry about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's an astounding list. There are many games that are off of this list that we have not seen as of yet. They are and again, one of the games that we're talking about that we're not sure whether or not it's going to be exclusive. I think it is, just based on what happened with Indiana Jones, thanks to Idle Sloth, the cyborg, because he's just too fast. I'm sorry, Idle, I love you, bro. I used to say, no, you're the human being. You're AI, bro. I know it. You got to be. I know you may be an AI in a body, because I know he was at the Fan Fest thing. He's so good. He's so fast with it. put out a story that I'm going to be talking about after this regarding new information on the IO Interactive James Bond game, which I believe, I could be wrong, and I'm wrong a lot of times, it's going to be exclusive. There's no way Microsoft is going to pay to get this thing locked up. I just know it, but we'll cross that bridge in a second. Listen, before I bring in Web Dave, Dreadpool, and Fuzzy, I gotta catch up with some super chats. There's a lot of them. P1553D drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Happy belated birthday, Mrs. Boom. Have a bash." Yes, we had a great day on her birthday, and tomorrow we're celebrating. We're having family stay over, so my nephew Tyler and I will be, going to GameStop and playing a bunch of Smash Brothers tonight. And we'll have Josie's sister stay over, and then tomorrow we're gonna have a nice little celebration with family for her. We're looking forward to that as well. Sith Lord drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Happy birthday, Mrs. Boom. Thanks for all that you do, and thank you so much for the kind words and the generosity." Hadari Mac drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Xbox is bringing the heat." And if John Wolf was here, he would say the Latino heat. PlayStation is burning and IGN is blowing smoke. Who brought the marshmallows? I love it. Joe Dunmore drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "PlayStation is winning the console war and Xbox is winning the content war." Indeed, they are. Double X Wolverine Double X drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, the whole ad thing is ridiculous to me. Just like the whole notion of determining a game purchase on the length of a campaign. Complainers complain. That is true. The real Skymain drops a very generous $2 super chat, and welcome to the program there, Real Skymain. Great show and awesome panel. Hit the like button. Thank you for that. Drawn TJ drops an additional $10 super chat and says, "But I thought Microsoft didn't have the marketing rights." Well, they did a joint partnership with marketing with Sony since they couldn't get Modern Warfare 3 into Game Pass. I mean, listen, we'll never know exactly what happened. We know that they're both marketing. There's been some theories that Microsoft wanted to try and get some momentum and money back on how much they're going to make of putting Modern Warfare as a purchasable game. I'm kind of like, it makes sense. I don't know if it's contract related. What I can say for sure is next year's Treyarch Modern War Call of Duty, which is Black Ops 6, I think it is, in the numbers, is going to be in the Gulf War, and that's going to be the first time that a Call of Duty will, of course, be in a service Xbox Game Pass. Quan the Terrible, who's been a channel member for a month, brother, that is very kind of you. Thank you so much for that. Saint Reborn 311 drops a very generous $2 super chat, says, "Happy B-Day, Mrs. Boom. Don't remember closing the Modern Warfare ad." Yeah, I didn't get it either. I don't know. Gerald Mack drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "How do you tell a $1 trillion company how to promote their ish? These dudes are weirdos. Xbox dudes too, weirdos." I mean, you're not wrong. NC Ghost of Low Road drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Starfield and Forza did the same thing. Press B and exit. It takes longer to take a picture. Blessings, guys, on the panel. Happy birthday, birth week, Mrs. Boom, brother. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much for the generosity and the kind words." And Hitman, who's another generous friend of the program, has dropped a $5 super chat and says, "Ad-supported tier streaming services are the most popular. Plus, they make the most money. So Xbox is definitely thinking about it." So I'm going to stop right there. Web Dave, let's get your hot take on this. Look, you and I have been talking. You're on 2 of my shows a week, not only this one, but of course the one on Monday, the Xbox Lunch Break Special. You've been a part of the Xbox community for quite a while. This is a ridiculous list of games. And we know that if people who are Xbox fans and specifically Xbox Game Pass subscribers, this year alone could only say that this is probably one of the most eating. This is like a smorgasbord of games. There's like so many games you can't even keep up with, and we're just getting started. Next year, we're gonna have 5 first-party games in there. Call of Duty being one of them. You're gonna get Avowed. You're gonna get Hellblade. You're gonna get Towerborn. I think the game from In Exile, Clockwork Revolution, is one of them. I could be wrong. And you just never know. But if we get those, I mean, what a year! And that's not even talking about the indie games and the second party games and the third party games. There's going to be a time where people are going to be lining up to get into Game Pass because of engagement. Let's talk about this list of games.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's awesome that there is so many coming, but I really feel like we don't know everything. That there is so much that's coming that we're not aware of, and
Yeah.
that we're going to be finding out about through the Game Awards next month.
Yep.
They're going to have another presentation probably in January or February. I guarantee they're going to have something then. Then of course the E3 time of year, there's going to be the summer showcases and stuff. There's going to be that. I mean, oh my gosh, Boom! This is probably the best time to be a fan of gaming, because
Yes.
it's really hitting its stride. And this is nothing to do with the console war at all, but Microsoft pushing the boundaries, making this purchase, continuing to buy because they're not done yet, is really fired up gaming like never before. And there's some people that, is the Sony having a bad time right now? It's debatable. Some people say yes, some people say it's nothing or blowing out of proportion, whatever. But all I can say is that Microsoft had some downtime. PlayStation 1, excuse me, the Xbox One didn't go, like we hoped. TV didn't help.
Yep.
All that kind of stuff. But we set the pace, kept at it, got Phil Spencer in place, and he's done amazing things for this company. So the growth and the mindset that he has, because he is a gamer and he wants to preserve gaming and get gaming to as many people as possible, it shows. And I think it's the best thing that's happened in gaming in a long time. And this list just, it's like, whoo, where do you find the time? Hey, you'll find the time. You'll eventually get to what you want to get to. It's there. Wouldn't you rather have too many choices than not enough, to where you feel like, oh man, I gotta play the same old thing again, or gosh, my platform only has one first party game coming out this year. Oh, sorry.
Wait,
No,
I
I
thought
mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Oh.
I mean, listen,
Sting a
you
little.
bring up fantastic points, Dave.
Mhm.
I was gonna say, I thought options were bad.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
Dave. Well, we actually, you know what, Dreadpool, let's go to you, because Dave literally just laid it down what I was going to say when we were bringing you into the conversation. And he mentioned the other platform being PlayStation. And what PlayStation has done this year is deliver one first-party game, and at the same time raise their gaming service, a la PlayStation Plus, by $40 and give you nothing extra for it except for some movies. That's it. Charged $40 more for not day and date, for old movies, just like they have old games. Now, I was told by Jim Ryan and many of their PlayStation Who brothers and sisters that they don't play old games. Why would you play old games? Well, apparently that's what PSN is. And when you look at this list, legitimately look at the list from 2000 on to the bottom level, it says upcoming games. Every one of those games are in Game Pass day and date. But you know what's crazy? Unlike Sony, who took out Spider-Man 2018 right before the release of Spider-Man 2, so they can sell it to you in a triple pack, Microsoft is not only delivering they raised their price by $2, so it's $16.99 rather than $14.99, and you are getting every one of these first party games. And guess what, Dread? They stay there. Let's talk about it.
You know, and here's the funny part, right? We know that right now Sony is tripping on themselves. All they
Mhm.
did was they looked behind them and tripped over the rake, right? So the rake just smashed their face, and they're in a dizzy, and they looked behind them again, and as they're walking down that sidewalk, they ran into the light pole. Um, that's all. This is all that's going on. Yeah, they're tripping up and stumbling like a drunk sailor. You know that it's fine. They'll sober up and they'll get back, and that's what we want. We want them to come back and do what Sony does and go back and fight the way that they fight. You know, not the dirty style that they fight, but you know, come back in and you know try to be dominant like they've always been. Um, but this is what we want. We want Xbox to do what they're doing and showing that they can change from 20 I mean even in 2013, you know, with the 5 studios that they had, they were almost for sale. And what did they do? It took them long enough to come around and find Phil to figure out how to do this and fix the problem and then sell a bigger solution to Satya, right? And same thing's going to happen over there at Sony. We know that that's what they do. Who knows what's going on with the whole leadership thing? It's not a big deal, you know. Yes, certain key issues are a big deal, right? Layoffs, they happen. You know, it sucks, but they happen. It's part of business. It's part of life. And you know, those type of jobs are susceptible to seasonal layoffs. So when I say seasonal, it depends on the game. It's not, you know, winter, summer, fall, spring. Not that. It's the game's season. Because once the game comes to an end, if they don't have another game to go to, or they're still in the planning project, what are they going to do? Pay these people to sit around? Unfortunately, this is what happens in the industry. Plus, in a lot of corporate industries, there is that trimming of the fat, you know, because they hire a lot of people. You know, my company did the same thing. They hired a whole bunch of idiots. I'm plain and simple. They don't know what the heck they're doing. They don't belong in this type of business that we do, but yet they hired them. What do? They sat around and didn't do anything for 3 days for one project, and it was a simple little connection that they had to do. They would have taken them 30 minutes. 3 days, no work. This is the stuff that happens. Now, I'm not saying that these devs, these programmers, the artists that all got laid off deserve to get laid off. There are some, and it's just unfortunately sometimes that they have to trim the fat. Um, and sometimes, you know, good people lose their jobs too. You know, they're very talented. And it's just one of those things. It's life, you know, and hopefully they will recover and get back on their feet, which is the same thing. With again, this is devs on both sides of the fence of, you know, the wars. But yeah, this competition is what we need. We've asked for this. We've demanded that competition is there, right? Who plays old games? Well, you're playing remasters. Are they not old games? We've asked for remasters of games from, you know, my preferred would be 360 and beyond, right? Nothing newer. Where is what's one of the classic games we keep on asking for? What's one of the ones that I ask for? Siphon Filter. Where's that old game?
Yeah,
Where's that remake?
I don't
Bring,
know.
you know what I mean? Those are the things that they need to do. What are they doing? Oh, we're going to go with 12 gas games. They don't understand. They've lost their way. Basically, it's like the beginning of the PS3 era when we joked about at the beginning of the PS5. You know, oh, just get a third job. You know, what did they say back then? Get a second job. You know, they've lost reality, and this is them tripping up and you know they are going to get back into reality and get a reality check because they're believing their own hype. They're believing their own, let's go ahead and say it, right? They're believing the ponies lying hype. Oh, this is good, and you're eating the turd sandwich, and they're like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Why lie about it? Be honest. This is what's going on. We're not happy. We want to see more. We want to see better. We expect better. What do we do on the Xbox side? We want to see better. We expect better. This is what we want. And it's not lining up one for one. And that's what we want. We want competition one for one. We want services that are not going to be overpriced. Yes. Do the services go up? They're going to go up, but reasonably go up, right? We complained about gold
Games of
going
Gold.
up, right?
Yes.
So we complained about that, and they're like, well, wait a second, bring that back down. That guy pretty got fired for making that decision without anybody else's knowledge to boost that. We don't know 100%. Maybe they got a good HR talking to, but more than likely they got let go, and if not, they were in the process of being let go, if you know what I mean. But that's the thing. We want these companies to be able to do this. Remasters and remakes are good, but don't sell me and lie to me about the same product, that nobody plays old games, but yet we're still playing the old games, right? We can go back to Gran Turismo. That's an old game, but you're making a new one, right? Forza Motorsport. That's an old game, but we're making new ones. We're making them, but it's not the exact same game. You're talking about sequels. You're talking about downloadable content where you're adding more content to stuff. That is a totally different topic. That is totally different conversation, but yet they lump it as if it's one, and this doesn't make sense. We need to, again, we're demanding better, but we're being very ethical and courteous and respectful to the developers, to the companies, of what we want and what we're demanding. We're not sending eggplants to anybody. You see what I'm saying?
Indeed. I know exactly what you're talking
There's
about. That is
that
correct.
mentality there that we need to change with a lot of people, and these companies need to understand that too. Maybe the eggplant thing was something that they needed to get them to open up again. I don't know, but yeah, remasters make the old ones come back. We want them to see. We want everybody to do good. We want the competition there. We want everything to fall in line, and not, we want to get our value for the money we spend. That is the main thing. And Retri, I don't know what you're saying. You're lying. That's not true. What are you talking about?
Well, listen, good points all around, as always, Dredd. Appreciate the honesty and the earnest, if being earnest as you normally are. But let's get your hot take on this. I'm going to move on to the 007 topic, but I want to get your hot take on this because this is what we have all been asking Xbox to do, right? Deliver on first party, deliver on strong single player story driven games that are going to be considered graphical masterclass, games like you see over on Sony's side. Now, maybe Avowed isn't your thing, but if you like those, those third person over the shoulder type of games, well, you're going to get that with Fable. You're going to get that with, of course, Hellblade 2. You're going to get that potentially with South of Midnight. Like, we don't know how it's going to be told, but we believe it's going to be third person. So you're going to get those story experiences, but at the same time, they're offering a plethora of experiences on every genre. Unlike Sony being, we're going to deliver the story-driven, over-the-shoulder, whatever you want to call it, the sad dad, you want to call it the sad girl, whatever you want to call it. They have as much as I like those, and I subscribe to Sony for those experiences. Not everyone thinks the same way. Let's get your hot take on this visualization of Xbox first party.
Well, and I'm saying this in jest, but shame on Clobriel for having this incomplete graphic. No, I'm just kidding. He has a lot of the stuff that we know about. There's a few that we kind of know about that aren't on here. Like there's another Minecraft game. We know that Johannes over at Tango Gameworks is working on another game already that's not Hi-Fi Rush 2. It's supposed to be like an RPG that's kind of like an anime art style. We know that another team at that same Tango Gameworks is either revisiting Evil Within or another one of their IPs. We also know that Arcane, the ones that did what do you call it, Redfall, are working on either Prey or possibly Dishonored. And then the other team is probably working on, like a Deathloop 2 or possibly something else. There was rumors of like a Spy Kids game, or not Spy Kids, but like some sort of spy game type of thing. There's a lot of other games that had like project names that we know are in the works or being developed and things along those lines. And there's like the safe to assume ones like, Horizon 6. We already have Gears on this list. But there's things like Wolfenstein 3 that we don't see on this list. We know that at one point Obsidian was geared to do 6 games in 7 years or something to that effect. So there's supposed to be another game between Avowed and Outer Worlds 2 that's not on here, whether it's a smaller experience, kind of like Pentiment, or if it's a larger experience, on the same size as Outer Worlds or Avowed. We'll see. There's just so many things in the works. And yes, some of them might not make it to the finish line. Some of them may get scaled back or canceled or put on hold or whatnot. But at least we have a pretty clear roadmap for like at least the next 3 to 5 years worth of games coming from first party studios. And they make a ton of partnerships. Like they've already made a partnership with IO Interactive. Whether the James Bond game is the one that's going to be an exclusive, or if it's that Dragon game that was talked about, that's kind of like an RPG fantasy kind of thing that they were working on as well. We know Certain Affinity was working on possibly like a Halo Battle Royale, but they were also working on their own RPG that I think may be taking a backseat so they can finish the Halo Battle Royale thing. But there's just so many things that Xbox is working on. And unfortunately, Team Blue doesn't really have quite the clear roadmap, especially considering some of those projects have been put on ice, like KOTOR has been put on ice. Like we've heard Factions has been put on ice, which is sad because considering Destiny or Bungie, the group that, probably poo-pooed on that is having their own poo-poo problems within their own walls. You would think at that point, maybe somebody in upper management over at Sony would be like, you know what, let's revisit Factions and see how that does, since these guys can't, put 2 and 2 together or add, since they're 45% behind projections. But that's a whole nother story. But back to the main focus on Xbox.
I see what you did there, kind sir.
Fuzzy's on fire.
No, but it's so awesome seeing all these games. And like for the longest time, we were like, we want, just one like COGS, line for as far as like the, kind of like that third person perspective game. And we have a ton of those that are either first person or third person that are going to be those single story or single player narrative stories. We also have a lot of single player / co-op / multiplayer component games that are from Xbox as well, which they've been doing that for ages. They've kind of, I wouldn't say necessarily perfected it, but they definitely have a system in place that's working. And they're getting some of their other games that may not have been, content complete at launch up to par, where you now see a resurgence back as far as the player base, like in Halo Infinite or in the multiplayer aspect of it and stuff. But it's awesome to see that Xbox was holding true to their word with, being all in gaming, wanting to compete, and now they're doubling down. Like if what we see as far as that visualization from Clobriel is what we can expect that we know about, if they're doubling down, can you imagine how loaded our backlogs are going to be in general as far as that's concerned, whether it's third party deals or like the kind of that gray area where the second party or published deals and things like that they also seem to be continuously working on. And then the fact that they've been working with studios in the East, as far as in Korea, in Japan, and things like that. So, and that's not even anywhere on this list. So there's just so much that they're doing right this generation. While, yeah, it may have been a little bit lighter on content as far as for the Xbox One generation, but now we're seeing the fruits of all the labor that led
Indeed.
up to this generation. And it's awesome to see. Hopefully Team Blue can find a way to get back on, track. I know a lot of people are like, oh, all this doom and gloom about Team Blue, but it's like the same thing that you always ask Xbox fans to say, you asked for better. It's like, I'm just saying, as a PlayStation owner myself, where's the roadmap? Like,
Yes,
honestly, at this
exactly.
point,
Yeah.
it's kind of laughable considering that it started with a list of 12, gas games down to 10. And if everything's to be understood, maybe even those are been shelved as far as after, Jim was given the boot kind of thing. So it's just awesome to see. And we haven't even really cracked into the whole ABK thing, which I'm hearing with, BlizzCon this weekend, we might get some,
Might get
extra
something.
news as Xbox fans, whether that's a game coming to console that's been typically only for PC, or if it's that new game that might be Xbox platform exclusive. We shall see. But kudos to the Xbox team and all the hard work they've been doing over these years, providing us with a lot of games just at the moment and a lot more to come. So, I'm happy as a Xbox fan or just a gaming fan in general.
Gaming
and,
fan,
and for
yeah.
anybody that, whether you're PC only or you're Team Blue only or Team Red, Nintendo or whatever, at some point you have to see something that's probably going to be of interest that might be worth trying out. And I would say at least you have a wide variety of stuff to pick from. So it's almost like there's something for everyone, and there's enough of some things to keep you occupied and happy as a gamer for some time to come. But I've rambled enough.
No, absolutely. Listen, Turk Netso in the chat says Project Suerte from Certain Infinity, Project Dragon, IO Interactive, Project Maverick from People Can Fly, and the Kojima title, as well as Project Mara. Not on the list, and these are coming. And you know what? We've heard, and again, this is rumors, folks, that Certain Infinities, it's supposed to be a battle royale game. I don't know if they need that. Maybe they've changed gears, and maybe they're going to make an actual single player game. Who knows? All I know is that Certain Infinity is an OG when it comes to Halo. I cannot wait to see what they bring to the table. Real quick, before we move on to the IO Interactive Project 007 story, I do want to read the next 6 winners. And yes, I say 6 because not only are we giving away 5 additional, the second half of the show with the 5 gift cards, we also had someone donate another Alan Wake code. And let me just bring that up on who that is. That was DJ55. And we have winners for everyone. Okay, so these are, first of all, Thanaros. You won Alan Wake 2, brother. Congratulations. And again, thanks to the 55. Super appreciate the generosity of donating that expensive game. Thanaros, you have won Alan Wake 2. Now, these are the 5 winners for the choice of a $50 gift card to Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo eShop, or Steam. Whole grain bread, Hism Man, Bone Slave, Joe Dunmore, and Mike Johnson. Now, I will read all of these winners at the end of the show for outros. They remind everyone who won. Congratulations to the 12 winners. We actually started out with 10 prizes, and we were gifted 2 ones from our good friend Sleepy Goblin, as well as DJ55. They both donated codes to Alan Wake 2 for Xbox. That's very, very kind of you. So thank you so much for the generosity. And congratulations to everyone. That this is, like I said, we like to do this. We love to give back. And, the community has always done right by me and Mrs. Boom. So we want to do the right thing by you folks. And again, congratulations to the 10 winners. Hit me up either via email, via message on Xbox Live, or of course on Twitter. DM me and we will get you your prizes. So, Fuzzy, I'm going to go back to you first on this one. Now, Idle Sloth, the human /AI /robot, I don't even know what he is anymore, but he's very quick when it comes to these stories. As per Insider Gaming, and obviously they're pretty spectacular site when it comes to putting out these news stories. That is Tom Henderson. He works over there, and Tom is pretty good when it comes to he's probably the most connected dude in the industry. He has a detail. It says this on according to IdleSoft's new tweet, details on the new James Bond game entitled Project 007. And according to this, it has been pitched as the ultimate spycraft fantasy, which suggests gadgets and perhaps a step away from the murderous objectives of Agent 47. The game will be a third-person action game with an original James Bond that isn't any of the iconic movies or actors. However, the game will seemingly be closer to a Daniel Craig rather than a Roger Moore. And Project 007 isn't expected to be released until at least the earliest 2025. So it's going to skip next year, and that's perfectly fine because, well, Xbox has a lot of games in development. So quite simply, and this is the question for the panel, so by all means, run with it however you want to run with it. Do we see this make an Xbox exclusive? Because I think it's going to be. I honestly believe that this is going to be an Xbox exclusive, and I say that with confidence, not because Tom Henderson gave me the skinny, or I know somebody at IO, or someone reached out to me via DM. No, I say that with confidence because everybody, and I mean everyone, said there's no way Indiana Jones is going to be exclusive because Disney is too big and Xbox is too small. Well, that went out with like the dodos, and you guys and gals who said that, our Hooves brothers and sisters were wrong again. I think Microsoft looks at this and say, well, you know what? We're working with IO Interactive on Project Dragon. Let's work with them on this. Now, again, I could be 1,000% wrong. I think there is a way to there's a way to get this to be exclusive to Xbox and PC, and it's just a matter of money. And Microsoft has a lot of money. And listen, let's talk about it. What do you think?
I'm leaning 70% as an Xbox exclusive, but not just because they're working with them, but probably because they're acquired at some point. I'm just saying, like a lot of the studios that they're working with, like whether it's Avalanche with Contraband, whether it's Crystal Dynamics or even Eidos Montreal, as far as with both Fable on Eidos and Perfect Dark with Crystal Dynamics, I think because they're going to take a little bit of a break from looking at publishers and start wrapping up some of their partnered studios, I think they're going to focus on that next. I don't know if Asobo's in that round of acquisitions or possible ones, because I know before they said they didn't want to be acquired, and there's some 10-cent money deeply invested in them as well. But I think IO Interactive, ever since they left Square, has been doing much better and not having to worry about somebody saying that they underperform. Hitman's been Hitman 3 and that whole trilogy has been doing well. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to wind up being part of Xbox Studios at some point, and that's why it's exclusive.
Hey, Google. Oh, sorry,
yeah. No, but I definitely think there is a strong chance. Like I was one of those that didn't think Indiana Jones, because I figured it'd be one of those things where it's like it wasn't a matter that they would have to pay a lot of extra money to Disney. It just sounded, at least at the time before Sony started to show their rear end, that Phil wasn't about really playing their old tactics or playing Sony like tactics when it came to IPs and things. But considering how much of a headache Phil, or not Phil, but how much of a headache Jim was being to Phil and Xbox in general with that whole ordeal with ABK, I think it's definitely changed their stance on some things. And at this point, especially if Indiana Jones winds up being like that experiment where they test it and they see that it's doing, equally as well as what they would have expected if it was, a multi-plat. They're selling, a lot of copies. They're also getting a lot of, subscription numbers and things like that. Having something like James Bond as well, I think they would say, you know what, it's definitely worthwhile keeping that IP over here as a draw, and then looking at the work that IO has done in the past and what they've continued to do, and say, here's the offer on the table. Is this enough of an offer for you guys to continue what you're doing just under our fold and with our backing, kind of thing? And we'll see how that pans out. But I do think it makes its way as a day and date Game Pass, Xbox platform exclusive. So PC, it'll be available on Steam. It'll be available in the Microsoft Store, and it'll be available on Xbox consoles, and that'll be about it. And if you want to play it, buy an Xbox, or just play your $5,000 gaming rig, and you'll have fun.
Yeah, have fun. There you go. Everyone has $5,000 rigs. I got 3 of them. They're just sitting on the corner. I don't even use them. They're just sitting there collecting dust. It's what happens. No, good stuff. All jokes aside, very good stuff. Infinite Umbra. What are the chances that IO Interactive, like Crispy said, like Fuzzy has said, is purchased and just not announced yet? And more importantly, do you think that it makes more sense for Microsoft to lock up 007 the same way that they did Indiana Jones? I think he's muted, and maybe he stepped away and I didn't see anything. Hold on, let me check the messages.
Yeah, he's muted.
Yeah. Infinite, are you there, kind sir? You're muted. I'm not sure if you fell asleep in that comfortable chair or not. I don't know. All right, we'll get back to Umbra in a hot second. Dave, get your hot take on this, brother. I mean, what are the chances that this becomes exclusive to Xbox? Because it makes sense. You and I have, we've had our thoughts and our theories, even our criticisms of Phil Spencer not wanting to delve into the licensed IP. I think it's a mistake. I still think that we are short a Marvel game. I don't know how and when that's going to happen. I'm glad that we are here. I'm glad Indiana Jones is, of course, a Xbox and PC exclusive. I think there's a highly likely chance that 007 could potentially be exclusive. What are your thoughts on this, man?
I agree with you. I think it definitely is a good possibility. I do think that when Phil made that statement, that was a little bit ago.
Yes,
and
it was. It was quite a bit ago.
I believe that his stance has changed. I think he's open to now to winning the first place mantle that they strive for, and growing their business. And I mean, it may not be their default go-to, but I think it's something it's at least, if it was off the table before, I think it's on the table now as a possibility. So I believe that I guess the details would be what would, there'd be probably some stipulations, about getting the rights to it and how long they have them and that kind of stuff. They're not going to get themselves in the hole like they had in the past with like Mech Assault, games like that with franchise and stuff like that. They'll make it clearly discernible in a contract that they would have, the exclusive rights to this in perpetuity and going forward on other systems and in the ecosystem of of the Xbox Game Pass type thing. So that it wouldn't have to, like, the next console comes out in 5 years or whatever, however long it takes, and then they're like, oh, well, we can't port that one out without having to go back and pay more licensing fee. They would do their due diligence to make sure that didn't happen. But I agree with you. I think it makes a good purchase, and it makes a lot of sense to be first party. Why not? I mean, first party, exclusive, even if it's a timed, or at least Game Pass. Those kind of things. Those are all on the table. And those are all options, which are benefit Microsoft. So whether it is an exclusive permanently, an exclusive timed 6 months, a year, or if it is a just in Game Pass add on to the, it's still available everywhere, but it's also in Game Pass, maybe not even day and date, look how many people are jumping on Dead Space 6 months later now that it's in Game Pass. And it
it's
just
so freaking good, folks. If you missed out, please play this game.
Yeah, but the point is that they don't have to necessarily. And I really think they ought to do this with GTA 6. That if because exclusive doesn't make a lot of sense for that company. But
Right.
if they say like 6 months from now, because they just brought back in the old GTA,
Yeah.
so why not like, hey, 6 months after you're out, why don't we get you a resurgence type thing and let you put it in Game Pass for 3 months? Because it'll be beneficial to their people, and it'll get the people that maybe didn't go all out for it at the time. I think there's something to be said for the way that Game Pass is able to morph to work best for the companies that want to get product into Game Pass. There's so many different options and different plans they can work with. It's a no-brainer. But yeah, this game, I think they should tie it down. I think it's going to be, all of us love playing GoldenEye. I mean, even though it's dated and all that kind of stuff now,
so
but still,
it's also not the greatest of versions. The better of the versions, the online version is actually a Nintendo exclusive, which is unbelievable.
But still, the point is that taking that franchise and that fun, dude. I grew up on Bond.
Me too.
I've read all the Ian Fleming books plus, and the books are way different than what the movies are. Dr. No had like a sea monster. That's all I'm saying. So it's some crazy a franchise, but it's been popular for so many years. It's so good. So yeah, I think it's definitely a no-brainer.
Yep, I absolutely agree. Fantastic point. Dreadpool, let's get your hot take on this. What are the chances that seeing the way Indiana Jones was handled, that's been confirmed. We learned that actually through court documents during the whole FTC shenanigans, that it is exclusive. They locked it up. Disney, apparently, according to the Hooved brothers and sisters, is too big of a company to have Indiana Jones locked down to too small of a platform, and third place Xbox. Well, that was proven wrong because, money talks, and what walks. But this is, they're working with IO Interactive. I believe, and Dave believes, and even Fuzzy believes that they already may have been purchased. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense. They just didn't announce it because they probably bought it for under what would be considered, reportable, like to the FTC and to the other, agencies. We may get, some sort of a report, next year or the year after, probably next year, where they're not going after publishers, but they just acquired 5 studios, and that could be Certain Affinity, that could be Asobo, that could be IO Interactive, that could be Crystal Dynamics, that could be Eidos Montreal. There's a ton of them that they're working with, but specifically IO Interactive and James Bond. They are working on, and again, we did hear some changing ideologies from Jez Court of Windows Central, where he wasn't sure that Project Dragon is now still exclusive. I believe it still is. That's just my opinion. Can and should James Bond or the 007 project be exclusive to Xbox and PC?
Hi, I'm Dreadpool, and welcome to my TED Talk. Schmigo wants me precious own all of them. Now think about this, right? Right? Let's pause on that, right? Think about this. We all want, not we, but the whole thing is they want Xbox to buy everything, right? Everything to go under Xbox. And unfortunately that's not going to happen, and that would be a monopoly eventually, right? So you can't do that, and it doesn't make sense. You want that competition to be there, and for them to deal with ABK, you already know that there's some backdoor deals that they have. We're assuming Asobo and a few other companies are pretty much locked in. They just haven't been official, right? So they haven't made the announcements. It's just all, handshakes in the background that this is going to be what happens. right? And when you think of it like that, okay, that makes sense. They don't want another fiasco like ABK was. So right now they are looking and concentrating, get past ABK, do all this and that. Well, obviously they said that they were still looking to buy more before the whole ABK became such a circus, right? So that never stopped. So that they're doing some backdoor deals still, even then. We wanted Crystal Dynamics, and obviously they couldn't do anything about that, and they had to get sold off. And what do we say? What happened with Crystal Dynamics? Embracer Group bought them, and I kind of said that I think they're doing the buddy boy, hey, I'll pay you some money, you just buy it, so that way I can buy it from you, and you'll get, you'll make some profit off of that. I think that's still in the plans. So it makes sense, right? And now when you're looking at IP like James Bond, if they do it right, and they have experience, obviously with Hitman, on how they could make a rendition of Hitman into James Bond. So they could do that. And again, Fuzzy pointed out, that they were reported to, be under the expectations, right? So they didn't meet expectations at all. That doesn't make sense when you're making hits. They blame Square Enix was blaming everybody, especially
their own games didn't hit
Yeah.
the expectations, and so
Well, they were
they
blaming.
took the time to throw these two companies under the bus, which was
Yeah.
gross.
They were blaming all the Western studios for under meeting expectations, and it's like, well, of course they were under delivering because you had such high expectations, and it finally bit them because now even their own studio did the same thing. So when Final Fantasy itself, was supposed to be like the next biggest thing, and it failed. Well, that tells you something. Your expectations were too high, and you didn't reach out as far as you could have.
Yep.
So who knows? But back to IO and James Bond, it makes sense to do something like this. And when you think about it, it's Xbox is a platform. So whether you're playing on Xbox One, Xbox Series, or PC, it's still under the same thing. And for now, the theory would be that you would still, if you're still stuck on an Xbox One, you haven't been able to upgrade to this current gen, that you would still play via the cloud, right? And this has nothing to do with ABK and Ubisoft in the cloud. This would be all Xbox. So again, you would be able to, go right into Game Pass, have that accessibility, and again, want to make you go further into upgrading to this gen, because again, it's a platform, so it doesn't matter where you're at. This is the whole game preservation that Phil's been talking about. You're not locked down, because those games for 360 were contracted for the 360. Those games for the OG Xbox were contracted for the OG Xbox. Now games are contracted for Xbox platform.
Yep.
Whether it's the cloud, whether it's a console, whether it's PC, doesn't matter. It's all the same ecosystem according to the contracts, which is awesome that they're doing that. And for James Bond, I can see it Xbox and PC. Again, like I said, if you want to excuse the Xbox One to be part of the cloud, that's cool, but that it wouldn't be the thing that I would be concentrating on. I think if they do this right, I mean, I'm still right now as I'm speaking, I still hear the GoldenEye song playing in my head.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The doom doom. I still hear it. So I'm excited for this. I think this is one of those studios that backdoor deal, handshake. And again, these studios, even if it's 5 studios or separate studios, they will fall underneath where there should be no scrutiny from Lena Con Artist or any of the other agencies that would look into all
No,
this.
it would fall under the threshold of, I think it's
way
300
below the
million
threshold.
or whatever it is. Yeah. Absolutely.
So these will just glide right on in, and that's great.
Yeah. Well, listen, at the end of the day, the more studios they get, they add to their already 44. Pong Soul, obviously one half of Living Some Screen, which they'll have their show tomorrow at 10 a.m. And also as part of PM and the PM with Matt, which by the way, I was actually listening this morning. Phenomenal show from those guys. Said that what Xbox is doing is building a moat. And that is it's surrounding themselves with this moat, and there's a few more pieces missing. I think that these last studios, and potentially a Japanese publisher, is going to keep them sustainable within their own bubble. So no matter what happens in the industry, they're going to have studios and IP that not only are legendary IP, but they're going to be able to put out new games on a cadence that no one's going to be able to keep up with. So no matter what the industry does, and it's going to consolidate even further, they're going to be okay. They're going to be sustainable in their own bubble, and I love that. Infinite Umbra, sir, are you back?
I am.
Yes. Well, hello, sir. Before I read the last super chats, and what I may do, because there's 40 of them, folks, which is redonkulous. I think when I get out, because I'm probably going to stay behind, and I got to make sure I read every one of them. So I'll get the panel out of here. So you go take your do what you got to do on your Friday. But Infinite Umbra, what we are talking about is the potential for James Bond 007 or Project 007 to be an exclusive for Xbox and PC. Should it be the same way that Indiana Jones is now exclusive? What are your thoughts on this, man?
I mean, if it was up to me, absolutely, I would make it.
You are the greedy Umbra,
Oh,
like I am the
absolutely.
greedy Boom. Let's not make any mistakes here.
100%. It would be exclusive right off the bat, and I'm with you. Whereas you were mentioning that you believe that it will be exclusive. I'm with you on that. I think it will. I think it makes sense. We've heard rumors already about IOI, and them making this game. So we already heard that, not only were they making this with Microsoft's help, but also, or at least another game they were making for Microsoft, but also we heard rumors of them possibly being acquired by Microsoft. It would make sense to me that Microsoft has worked out a deal to get this exclusive. Not to mention, of course, we had the 007, the old school game, come out.
Yep.
So I think it would fit that Microsoft worked out something. Now, I can't say for sure that's going to be the case, because maybe the license requires that they have to put it on all platforms. I don't know. But if I had the choice in Microsoft, absolutely, I would nail that for exclusivity. So, yeah, I heard all you guys' takes on it, but I am fighting the Grim Reaper of sleep over here. So,
yeah, well, we're gonna get everybody here in a hot second. But listen, we definitely appreciate you taking the time. Obviously, you do work nights, and to be here is we do appreciate you obviously guesting.
Mm-hmm.
Look, at the end of the day, the more that they can add to the service, the more chances that someone who's not already subscribed is going to consider subscribing. And the way that they have added content from every genre, no matter what you like, there is no way you're going to look at Game Pass, folks, and be like, you know what? I don't like anything there, because then you're lying. Because even if you only find 3 to 5 games on there that you're like over the moon for, whether that be first party, third party, indie, it doesn't matter. It is going to be worth more than your $180 a year that you're spending for Xbox Game Pass, or maybe it's even a little bit more with the $16.99 a month. There's just no other service that's offering this kind of value. The value proposition should be, as a consumer, which is what we all are first. We're fans, sure, but you should look at this from a consumer's point of view. What gives you the most value for your dollar? And right now, it's not Nintendo service. It's not PlayStation Plus. It is Xbox Game Pass. And mind you, we are only at the tip of the spear with content. Look at what they've done in 2023. Just imagine when you consider what they're going to do next year. Because like I said, I think we're on the precipice of everyone lining up to get into Game Pass, because there is going to come a point where they announce they have 45 million and 50 million and 60 and 70 million, and they're going to keep growing because they're going to have the content. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't think Call of Duty matters, the day that this is in Xbox Game Pass, you're going to see numbers like you've never seen before. And that's because it's Call of Duty. But that is going to do it for today's show. We are at the 2-hour mark. I am going to stay behind, folks, and get to every one of these super chats. And if there are questions in there, I will answer them live on the air. So please, by all means, hang around. But I want to get everyone out of here first, and we'll start with Umbra, who is dying on the vine here. Brother, thank you so much for joining us. Sell the brand of not only The Fix, because obviously that's the show that you do with Daniel J. McGee, and you had a great show last night as well, as you do each and every week. But you're also on Risk It for the Biscuits show, which will be tonight at this evening at I believe it's 8 p.m. Eastern. Is that when
correct.
it is?
That's right.
Okay. So your brand, and more importantly, where can people reach out to you on social media?
Yeah, so you guys can hit me up on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call that thing, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way. Shout out to you, Boom, for having me on here Friday.
Thank you, sir.
And shout out to the panel. Much love being here with you guys. Sorry, I'm not as energetic as I could be.
Dude, you work nights, brother. I can't believe you lasted this long.
Yeah, I think I outdid Dreadpool. I'm like, it'll be him or me, and it was me. It got me. But shout out to the panel and shout out to the chat. You guys held it down. All those super chats. I will hope to one day get such trust and love from you all to come to the Fix and do the same.
It's unreal. It really is. It is. This is why we do what we do, because we're more givers than we're takers. And a lot of the times it is overwhelming emotionally. Like, I keep it in, but when you sit back and you go through these things, it takes an emotional toll on you, because we don't do this for money, folks. I do this 5 days a week because I love gaming, but more importantly, and what we built this show on, Umbra, was the groundwork for this show. Same thing as groundwork as an NYPD, New York City police officer for 21 years. I was grounded in community. I went back to my old community. I went back to my old high school, and I was a youth officer. I walked the beat of my own neighborhood where I used to play basketball. So I was able to have a story that you don't hear mostly of, because that won't sell papers. And we took that ideology when we were building the channel, and we wanted to be transparent, and we wanted to be giving, and these kind of generosity allows us to do that. So I hope that you find that for your channel as well.
I mean, we already have, and I've said it many times before, and I stick to it, that I think, the Xbox is the best community out there.
Indeed.
So, love to the chat for you guys holding it down. Donations, gifts like you all did. I forgot Sleepy Goblin giving away Alan Wake 2 earlier. Things of that nature, stuff like that. You all don't have to do those things, and you do it. So it's a beautiful thing that you all are so giving, and don't change. Be yourselves and be your normal giving selves, and stay out of those stables. But yeah, of course, you guys can't find me.
Don't eat those sugar cubes.
No sugar cubes. And if you turn to one in Spider-Man, turn it off. But yeah, you guys on the Xbox Infinite, you'll find me tonight. It's at 8 o'clock Eastern. Come by myself, Risky for the Biscuit, Jedi Knight Peter, and that blue number, aka Holly. Come by and check us out. And Tuesdays, of course, with Boom, Xbox Factor, myself, him, Danny, and C Money. And of course, on Thursdays, my show with Danny, The Fix. So come by. It's 8 o'clock Eastern as well. And yeah, and, we got time moving up. I think on the 5th.
Yeah, this week, this Sunday. Well, Saturday, I believe. Saturday into Sunday, the clocks go ahead. So when you wake up, it's gonna. When I tell you, it's crazy, because at night it's gonna be quick, and then when you wake up, it's still pitch black. It's crazy.
Exactly. So I guess next week would it be 7? It would be 7 o'clock Eastern, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, times will change up on us next week, so, or at least by next week. So yeah, but thank you guys in the chat. Thank you, panel, and thank you, Boom. Thank you, Boom, for having me here.
Enjoy your weekend, brother, and thank you again. Super appreciate you being a part of this. Dreadpool, let's get you on out of here, brother, so you can go catch some sleep or maybe eat something delicious. I'm going to throw you stuff up on here. Folks, you can find Dreadpool at many locations, but you can find him at linktree.com/Dreadpool, youtube.com/Dreadpool, Twitter or X at Dreadpool, TikTok at Dreadpool, hover.gg at Dreadpool or /Dreadpool. You can find him not only here each and every Friday, you can find him on Sunday evenings on Wilmy Hood's Gaming Beyond the Box at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can definitely check out on his personal YouTube channel, Breaking Bread with Dread. And the content has been bombastic, to say the least. Brother, sell your brand. Talk about it.
Yes. I gotta thank Ham Solo. I was on his interview last night. It
Ham's
was
a
a
good
great,
dude.
yeah.
They're
It
great.
was
They're great
it
over
was
there.
it was an honor to be asked to do the interview. So you got to check his show out. So definitely thank you to him. Again, thank you to each and every one of you guys in the chat. You guys are awesome. Love you all. You guys take care. But just look everywhere YouTube. I'm going tonight, so once we get done here, I am going to bed. I got another haunted house to go back to tonight. They want me to return and do another recording of the houses and the place, and they want some more videos. So yeah, it's cool that I have a backlog now of videos to come out, which is unbelievable. Between that shorts and then Good Morning Xbox on Sunday morning to helping out those guys. Where else am I? Dusty Uno was a couple weeks ago on a Wednesday, which I forgot to mention last week. But yeah, it's great to be busy, right?
Yep.
Playing video games is a great hobby, and unfortunately, I've been so busy I haven't been able to play the games like I
Isn't that the
want to.
freaking worst? Like you have like a video game podcast, and you just can't play games. It's
Yeah,
frustrating.
it is so frustrating. But I'm not sitting around Twitter saying that I beat a game or played a game and then get called out by a certain developer because I didn't play a game that I was talking trash about. Wink,
There
wink.
you go.
But yeah, keep calling people out the proper way, and it just really more so than anything, enjoy games. Enjoy having fun more so than calling something out and giving trash attention, right? So speaking of all of that, let's get back to us, right? So it's always fun being here with Fuzzy and Web Dave and you, Boom.
Thank you, sir.
It's great to see Umbra here again and listening to his knowledge and spitting his facts. So it's always great to have the family from different podcasts together. This is the whole
Yes.
thing about community. We're all family. You guys in the chat are family. The podcasts, even though we're on different podcasts, we're all family. It doesn't matter, so that's the beauty of it. And before I forget, first and foremost, which I should have said first and foremost at the beginning, but never too late to say it. Happy birthday, Mrs. Boomstick.
Thank you, kind sir. That's very kind of you. Appreciate
And
it.
we
Thank
thank her for all the, for every great man, there's a greater woman behind them.
you. Indeed, she's
steering the way,
definitely the
right?
rock. No doubt about that, for sure.
So yeah, definitely thank you all. And again, you guys take care. Have a good weekend.
You too, brother. Get some sleep, man. Go record your haunted house. I cannot wait to see what that looks like. But thanks again.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys. And before I forget,
yeah, I know. Go catch some Z's. Web Dave, let's get you on out of here, brother. Sell your brand. Talk about the best place for one-on-one conversations each and every Monday, because you usually do that and drop those on Monday. But you also do a great show each and every Sunday evening with Retri from Game Pass Daily, called the Gamers Council Podcast. Talk about it, brother. Sell the brand. And more importantly, where can people reach out to you on social media?
Thanks for having me on, Boom. I love being here. You know that. And it was always great to be on with Fuzzy and Dread and Umber today. That was great having you here, buddy. And so, yeah, great show. And this Sunday show is going to be, oh, man, the heat. We crank it up. It is the Gamers Council this Sunday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Can't talk. And yeah, it's going to be a good one. We have Dirt Griggity and Tony from Plume Network are both going to be our guests this Sunday. And then Monday's episode, and get in-depth deep dive one-on-one with Jez Gordon. So that's going to be a really
Nice,
big one
dude.
for Monday. So there you go. Big
Excellent.
weekend.
Excellent, brother. Well, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it. Can't wait to check out the content as always. Last, and no least, Fuzzy Belvedere, the best place for anything and everything racing. Please, let's get him to 1K on his YouTube channel. By all means, brother, sell the brand. Talk about where people can check out your YouTube channel, but more importantly, reach out to you on social media.
Just want to thank you for having me on. It's always awesome being on here with you guys. Always awesome when we have a special guest like Umbra. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks to everybody in the chat for interacting with us. Don't forget to hit the like button. Greatly appreciate your guys taking the time to check us out. Also, happy belated birthday for Mrs. Boom.
Thank you, sir.
You and the missus do so many awesome things for the community. Always greatly appreciate you guys doing what you do. For those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also find me on Xbox Ultimate later on tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Fun Speculations channel. And then tomorrow night, Shop Podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on PTK Blam's channel. And then right back here on Monday afternoon for Xbox Lunch Break Special. Look forward to seeing you guys there. Thanks again.
Yes, thank you so much. Listen, gentlemen, everyone can take off. I'm going to hang behind so I can read all these super chats. Everyone have an amazing weekend. We'll see you guys. See Dave and Fuzzy on Monday. I will see Umber on Tuesday, and of course, Dreadpool. I see you back here on Friday. Enjoy your weekend, guys. So, listen, gentlemen. Let me just again, by all means, take off. Do your thing. Get your Friday started, and I'm going to stay behind.
This is it. Please let me know if this
Later, everyone.
ain't love, baby. Okay, I'm sleepy. I'm sorry. See you
Yeah,
guys.
that's all right.
Later.
You get punchy when you're sleepy. I get it.
Yeah.
So do I.
I was expecting The Rock.
The Rock says you should read those super chats and know your role, jabroni. All right, guys.
Take care.
I'll talk
All
to
right,
you later.
gentlemen. Enjoy your. So,
All right,
listen,
take
ladies
care.
and gentlemen, again, thank you so much for hanging back. I want to thank you for all the generosity that you have shown us today. I'm going to catch up on the super chats, and we're going to go first with Enigmatic Dreams, who drops a $5 super chat and says, "Happy B-Day. Thank you for being Mr. Boomstick's rock and foundation for providing us with an amazing content. You both are a pillar in the community. Thank you." Well, thank you for the kind words, and I will certainly make sure that she reads this unless she's already read it. Splendiferous drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "This guy is a machine. 5 shows a week, A+ content." That is very kind of you. Yeah, a lot of people ask me, how do I do it? Dude, I listen, I'm not going to front. A lot of the times, the topics that get in here, believe it or not, I really shit you not, is when I go to sleep, I have a pen and paper that I write. And sometimes when I get up in the middle of the night and there's an idea, I write it down. That's a lot of the time. A lot of like the topics and stuff that just come to me is like this. I love this stuff, and I love the fact that I have an opportunity to do this, and people actually want to listen. So thank you for the kind words. Smokey in the chat drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "Modern Warfare 3's campaign is fire. DM Zombies is going to be even better. Let the haters hate. Call of Duty would never die. Happy Mrs. Boom's birthday bash." Brother, thank you so much for that. We also have Dreadful Sean drops a very generous $5 super chat. And this is funny, folks. "I've seen more articles about Microsoft employees possibly losing free Game Pass than articles about the state of PlayStation and the layoffs. And that is both sad and very true." I saw people come out there. "I can't believe I'm going to..." Shut up. Listen, you probably are making a nice chunk of money. Pay for Game Pass. Stop it. And the fact that anyone is trying to use that as console war rhetoric, you need to stop it too. Pay for your stuff. What can I tell you? I don't know. Let's see. Highlander 001. Okay, wait 1 second. Splendiferous drops a $2 super chat and says, "Happy birthday, Mrs. Boom. We appreciate you so much." That's very kind of you, brother. Thank you. Highlander 001 drops not 1, but 2 super chats. The first one of $5. He says, "I saw the splash screen, and that reminded me that I can do early access to the campaign. As for the controllers, that's covered by the TOS." I mean, yes, the controller thing, listen, don't have illegal controllers. What can I tell you? Highlander 001 drops an additional $10 super chat and says, I do not like being called disabled. I think that's what he meant to say. I'm mobility impaired. Saying someone is disabled is saying they are broken. Microsoft makes a controller for those who are mobility impaired, and it works great. I'm not sure who said the whole disabled thing. I absolutely agree with you. I think mobility impaired is probably a more politically correct way, Highlander. And I got to tell you, that controller is phenomenal. I obviously don't use it. Thankfully, I don't need it. But everyone that I've talked to that has used it to great success. And I love the fact that Microsoft was one of the innovators, because you saw this PlayStation has one as well now. I don't know if Nintendo does, but I do know that there is a way that Microsoft, when they were building this, made it open-ended for PlayStation to use it as well as Nintendo, which I think is incredibly cool. Dan the Man Cunningham drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, happy birthday, Mrs. Boom. Thank you for all that you do for the community. No one works harder and deserves the success more than you. Boom, much love. That's very kind of you, Dan. I really appreciate the very kind words. Of course, the generosity. And congratulations, you won today, which is awesome. EJ Jackson drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, at Boom, that was me that sent the code. Oh, so EJ Jackson is the one. Okay, so okay, so EJ, thank you for that. That's, again, very kind of you. He sent the second Alan Wake code, and of course, over on Xbox, he is at THEEJ55. So thank you so much, EJ. Definitely appreciate that. Lady Foxfire drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, happy birthday, Mrs. Boom. Have an amazing weekend. Thank you, darling. Appreciate that. Thunderdome Gaming Society, who's been a channel member for 2 months, says marketplace shift is happening now. Thanks to the Bungie shenanigans, roadmap for Sony in 2024 is not good. Yeah, the fact that they had to cancel, well, they didn't cancel. Well, actually, they did cancel factions for Naughty Dog, which is still shocking to me. But the fact that you can they've canceled their third game. The DLC has been delayed to 2024. The new Destiny DLC and their other game that they're working on has been delayed to 2025. Yeah, definitely not good. Let's see. We have here Highlander 001 drops an additional $10 super chat and says, Highlander 001. I just read that. Drops a $10 super chat and says, the clock has already started. The ABK deal has Apple, Amazon, and even Google looking to acquire publishers and developers. Sony is about to be priced out, not to mention unions coming to gaming. Yeah, Sony's in a pickle. There's just no doubt about it. Marvin Ginyard drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, the hooved hearsay, I believe that's what it is, how I pronounce it, hearsay. The hooved hearsay is getting sad out here. I mean, who you can call it, hooved hijinks. You can call it, I don't know what else to call it, but it's just ridiculous. And Gamers Play HUD Zero rounds out the super chats of $10 and says, hey, Boom and Panel. Listen, right now we are at a watershed moment for Xbox. Potentially, with all the licenses they could use, Xbox could have Spider-Man level franchises that could be exclusive. I think you're onto something. And I say that because, look, engagement with IP is worth its weight in gold. And if you are a licensee and you own a popular IP, right? And when you look to the socials and all you see is everyone talking about Xbox, whether it be because they have a great game, whether they have because they closed a $70 billion deal, whether it's because of engagement through the community, you're going to look to that publisher to take your licensed IP and say, let's make a deal because they have 50 million subscribers. I know that I'm going to get a bag of money if I put this into Game Pass, or I team up with and take my IP and says, Microsoft, here, This is the IP. Let's get a studio on it, and how and who's going to publish it. And I think that ultimately you're going to start to see the shift from people wanting to be on PlayStation to wanting to also be on Xbox, or potentially switch sides. They're on PlayStation now. PlayStation players are not buying the engagement IPs. Listen, the fact of the matter is, and I'm not being insulting, PlayStation gamers, they don't buy games. Hell, they don't even buy their own first party games. Most PlayStation players, at least 75% of the populace, are casual gamers, and casual gamers buy 1 to 3 games per year. It's a Call of Duty, it's a Madden, it's a FIFA, it's a UFC, it's a WWE. It's always going to, and occasionally it is going to be one of their first party games. That's a fact, folks. That is an absolute fact. But look, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a giant thank you to the outstanding generosity. I am going to read verbatim all of the winners again, folks. Both codes for Alan Wake 2 have been doled out to the winners via Xbox Live. So congratulations, gentlemen. These are the 10 winners of the $50 gift card to your platform of choice, whether that be Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo eShop, and now, thanks to popular demand, Steam. These are the 10 winners. Reach out to me via DM. Reach out to me via the email address on the YouTube channel. You can find that at the About page, where it has the business address, the email address, or reach me on Xbox Live, and we will get you your code, even if you are outside of the Americas. And again, folks, that is Sherman Jacobs. That is Luis Jimenez, Green Goblin, Dan the Man Cunningham. Oliveria is also the 5th winner. And the next 5 are going to be Whole Grain Bread. We also have how do you pronounce it? Pism Man? I think it's Pism Man. Bone Slave, Joe Dunmore, and Mike Johnson. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw these winners up. Even if you're not on the socials, I'm just going to hashtag you on my Twitter. So if you missed it, maybe someone left, we'll get you your prize, but I'm going to put it out there who won the 10 winners. And obviously, the quicker you can get to me, the quicker I can get you the prize. The worst case scenario is that I can get it later on this afternoon, or at least by tomorrow. Now, here's the thing. If I don't hear from any of the winners by Monday's show, I will re-roll the winners and we'll announce the winners on that Monday show. So once again, folks, I'm gonna read them again real quick. Sherman Jacobs, Luis Jimenez, Green Goblin, Dan the Man Cunningham, Oliveria, Whole Grain Bread, Pism Man, Bone Slave, Joe Dunmore, and Mike Johnson. Congratulations and thank you all for the consistent support through, of course, super chats, through channel memberships, as well as, of course, just the views and the likes and the clicks. We appreciate it. We love you. And of course, I'm going to close out the show, folks, with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. He would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, Craig, I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom.